Hello guys and welcome to a stream of Mark Garreau, aka Roster Doctor's amazing three-box invitational tournament. I'm very pleased to be joined by Mark. Mark, how are you doing?
Good. How about you?
Yeah, I'm doing very well. I guess the first question to start with is tell us a bit about the format.
Yeah, so the three box challenge was started by my article series, and essentially the idea is entry level players, they don't want to buy literally every release, and I think there's a lot of people out there who are intimidated by the scope of the game. There's something like 85 characters now in the game, and it's like going by a rate of somewhere between 4 and 8 a month. So it feels like a lot. So the idea of the three box challenge is you get the core box, which by itself has everything you technically need to have for a crisis event. But not everyone just wants to play Cabal and Avengers in the most vanilla way, so they get to pick three boxes of their choice, any three boxes, and you build your list out of the core box plus those three boxes you chose, and it's kind of like a semi-limited entry-level format.
Okay, so we've got this game. First one I think that's being streamed is Dyzard against Pat Dunford. Well, his name isn't appearing up over the blue player. Pat's playing a Web Warriors roster, and Dyzard's playing an X-Force roster. Dyzard one priority. He chose Secures and has selected Terrigen Clouds, whereas Pat has selected Struggle for the Cube.
Yeah, so real quick, let's just go over the boxes that they actually selected.
For sure.
It'll become evident real quick, but so Pat has Amazing Spider-Man and Black Cat as one box, Miles and Gwen as another box, and I'm struggling a bit with the camera to
Amazing,
take a look at his team.
Shuri and Okoye, I think he took as his third.
Yeah, Shuri and Okoye to round it out as just like good workhorse characters.
And
It's
you
very
get
hard to go wrong with them.
and you get advanced R&D, which is pretty key for the Web Warriors who can struggle with early game power.
Exactly. And then Dyzard went a little bit spicier with his X-Force roster. So Cable and Domino, of course, then Deadpool and Bob. And the interesting one, in my view, is Medusa and Black Bolt. And weirdly enough, if you look at his roster, he's not even taking Bob here, which I thought was a very interesting choice.
He has got Black Bolt in the roster, but even at 20, the highest threat in the game, he's still not playing Black Bolt. I'm not sure Black Bolt's going to see much play in this roster.
Yeah, I kind of like the fantasy of just switching into pseudo-inhumans at 20 so you have poison immune on both sides, but...
So just showing you, so Pat's rocking Amazing Spider-Man. He was talking just before we started streaming about how excited he was. Looking like a team of Amazing Spider-Man, Baron Zemo, Miles Morales Spider-Man, Shuri, and Ghost Spider. That feels like a pretty solid 20. Wait, is that 20? Oh yeah, I'm not used to seeing 5 character 20s on Web Warriors. They haven't had the Amazing Spider-Man around. So it'd be interesting to see how he plays. And which leadership Pat opts for.
I'm going to assume in the X-Force matchup it would ideally be Miles's.
I think that's probably stronger, but Pat might just be wanting to play for funsies and take the Amazing Spider-Man leadership. Who knows? Let's see what happens. Cool map they got set up here. So it looks actually quite a lot like a street. A lot of the times when you see these maps, they're not particularly like you'd expect a street to look like. I think this one does a pretty good job given the constraints of the terrain placement.
Yeah, and there's actually a good number of size 4s, which is promising for Dyzard with his Omega level threat powers.
Yeah.
I guess that's the only throw he has. Is Pat bringing any terrain throws?
Spider-Man's got a thing where he throws bits of terrain on like a wild after an attack.
Yeah, okay, but that's size 2 limited, which
size 2.
might be a bit tricky in this map.
There's a couple of cars right in the middle though. They'd be good, and there's a hot dog stand off on Dyzard's side. Doctor back there, so might be relevant.
And then tactics for Pat, we've got Disarm, All You've Got, Brace for Impact, All Webbed Up, and Spider Tracker.
Do you want to just maybe go over Spider Tracker for people who aren't familiar with it?
Yeah, so Spider Tracker is whenever an enemy character ends a move action within 4 of an allied Web Warriors character, the allied character can spend 2 power to play the card and advance short. So for any War Machine veterans out there, it's very much akin to Admonition, which was the bane of many a player's existence.
Tell me about it. Um, yeah, that seems good, and it could be an advance towards or an advanced way. It's omnidirectional, so that seems very flexible.
Yeah, so you can use it to punish somebody who's moving on to a point by following up to somewhere where you're more threatening to them, or you can back off if you think they're coming into you. On the other side with Dyzard, we've got Recalibration Matrix, Cat and Mouse, Pretty Sneaky Sis, Bitter Rivals, and Warpath. Really love the spread he's bringing here. Bitter Rivals, in general, just the Black Bolt Medusa box, I think, got a lot of mileage for him because you get Medusa, you get Bitter Rivals, and you get Terrigen Clouds, which I think are all 3 great things if you're playing X-Force in a 3-box challenge environment.
Yep, seems good. So X-Force going to be trying to blow stuff up. Do you think that's his game plan?
Yeah, I think he's here to brawl and hopefully outpunch the Web Warriors.
Seems likely. Whereas the Web Warriors, I mean, we've got these 2 points. And they've got some good control effects with Shuri in particular. Shuri and Ghost Spider together. That's pretty solid control just there. So I'm expecting Pat to play a kind of a more of a control game. He's going to be trying to score ideally both of those Terrigen Clouds whilst trying to survive. Let's see if we can figure out who... I haven't deployed yet, so Pat will choose his leadership at the end of deployment. See if we can get an indication from him who that's going to be.
Yeah.
So
Amazing Spider-Man, he can web swing and single move onto the mist clouds, right? But he doesn't have advanced R&D, so this is going to be a little bit tricky here.
Well, I think
I guess he's
lining up
just
for,
going for the cube play,
cube
right?
play, and Dyzard's kind of got an issue. I mean, because Cable can go and do a similar thing and go and grab that center cube, or he's got a number of options with the tactics cards he's got. With Cat and Mouse, he can put someone forward and go and grab it, so it doesn't have to be Cable. He's got a few options there. So he can, I suspect we'll see Dyzard put someone central, Cat and Mouse them forward, go and grab the cube and run away, probably to out of range of Amazing Spider-Man. Maybe someone like, it can't be Black Widow, it has to be an X-Force affiliated. So
something to keep in mind with Cat and Mouse is you're only allowed to do 1 move action if you Cat and Mouse that character. True. So they can't actually run away.
Yeah, that's true.
It's great for getting onto the middle point, but you have to stay there. Usually that's worth it for X-Force teams because they love shooting with their range 3, range 4, or in Cable's case, range 5 attacks. But it doesn't necessarily lend itself super well to a runaway game plan.
Yep, and Cable's gone on that top side, so we're not going to see that, and that's Deadpool.
Yeah, so it looks like a hard stack onto the top side, trying to just full win that one, it looks like.
And it looks like he's not that fussed about that central cube. He's just kind of given up on it, and says if Amazing Spider-Man's going to be spending his power picking up cubes and running around in the middle of the board where the game's not going to be in the first couple of turns, maybe that's a win, taking that 5-threat character out. Having said that, we've just got Domino coming in the middle, so it could be Domino that gets Cat and Mouse forward and stands in the middle, maybe with cover from behind that size 2 car, but I think she's probably going to get punched a lot if she does that. I don't know. I can see it both ways.
Yeah, if you're going to go for the Cat and Mouse central steel play, I prefer doing it with Cable because he can actually body slide backwards. Which helps a lot, whereas the other characters are a lot more limited in their options.
So you would go forward, move forward, pick up the cube, make an attack, hope to do a damage, and then you'd have the power to slide backwards.
Yeah.
And here comes the Cat and Mouse. It looks like Deadpool is going forward.
It looks like deliberations are continuing. Another interesting aspect is Dyzard did bring Pretty Sneaky Sis, which is, I feel, pretty big in this matchup because everyone's got range 3 or longer attacks that they want to use, and so Pretty Sneaky Sis, it's like Shadow Org for Criminal Syndicate, you can only attack if you're within range 2 as a super stealth. So I think that's going to be very punitive for a lot of these characters on round 2.
Yep, seems likely. Yeah, because you've got Ghost Spider wanting to do a web line. I guess Zemo doesn't affect hugely unless he's going to be doing his.
It can be annoying for Steel Rush turns,
Steel Rush.
but yeah, Zemo is the one who cares the least because he's got charge. If he was going to pay for a Steel Rush, it's not the end of the world for him to pay for a charge. Okay, and it looks like Black Widow is going to start things off with picking up one of the home cubes. So this does leave the Spider-Man center play completely intact.
Presumably, then Domino's there to try and take down Spider-Man or do some more chip damage. Maybe hoping to get like a 4 through on him would be ideal because then he dazes. But he can move himself to a position where he's relatively safe. But then maybe
interesting. Black Widow climbed on top of that building there. It looks like this is a bit of a hedging play for future rounds. Hopefully she's not in single advance attack range for Spider-Man. Because with his long move, medium base, and his range 3 attack, he might just be able to go clobber her. But we'll see that later on in the round, I think.
I suspect, range 3 is probably that far side of that car is just in range 3. And is that a long move? Could be. Could be. That would feel bad if that was in. So yeah, does he do the Spider-Man play? He's hovering over Spider-Man. Yeah, here we go. Spider-Man's going to go and get a cube. Where would you run afterwards? Do you run to the south and try and deny targets to those characters up there who are looking menacing? I think that's probably.
So I think you run south because Cable and Medusa is really obnoxious. Like if you want to brawl them, you can brawl them, but I think since you're winning the middle, you're actually fine with parity on board, which means that if you just go south and you say Amazing Spider-Man, Zemo, and Ghost Spider can beat Domino, Black Widow, and Deadpool, which they very much can, I think you're in a great spot and you're just going to slowly tick up a lead.
I think something Dyzard should be considering is double moving maybe Cable to go and grab a cube.
So the danger of not putting both people on the mist cloud is what's it called? Shuri can push one of them off, right?
Oh yeah.
So he needs to dedicate both Cable and Medusa, which is why I thought Black Widow would have gone top. But since she went for the cube, I don't think you want 2 damage on her because she's only got 4 stamina. So he's kind of in a tight bind where Pat's just going to hard shift towards the bottom side relative to me.
Well, that's why I think going and grabbing the cube is a decent play because then you're going up on extracts, and yes, you might lose the Terrigen this round, but then you're going to do some work into the next round. I don't hate that as a play. We'll see how it pans out.
Yep, so Domino, it looks like she's just out of range 3, unfortunately. So she's either going to lucky shot or move again.
Or can she throw a grenade? That's range 4, right? Yeah, grenade bounce is range 4. Incinerated Spider-Man seems like not an awful idea. Yeah, here comes the grenade. Well, that's a good roll. Yeah. And he's got the Cable leadership as well. Ready to come in.
Yep. Ooh, and another success with the crit. We're going to look at the reroll. Pretty good roll on Pat's side there.
Yeah, he's got some crits that he needs to roll in.
Did we get confirmation on what leadership he chose?
We haven't yet. Did he not roll in those crits?
Domino.
Ah!
He does not get
yeah,
to.
Domino, of course. But still manages
who
to...
needs crits when you roll 4 blocks anyways?
Seems good. Seems good. But he is incinerated, which is going to be, I think, a big deal for next round. So, Yeah, I think it's an interesting toss-up about the going and grabbing that top cube. I can see it both ways, yeah. There's there's a stop sign just next to the mist cloud on the top side, and I think you can park yourself just the other side of the stop sign so that the Shuri pushes will just push you straight back into that stop sign and you won't be able to get any direction away. So I think there's a decent backstop there against the Shuri push. Along came a Zemo. He's moved up on a car. I guess he's eyeing up the charge. No, he didn't bring advanced R&D. So
he's just double moving to steal that cube.
Yeah. That makes
things... Now forces Deadpool into an awkward position of overextending himself rather than going after the incinerated Amazing Spider-Man.
Or, I mean, if he wants to take the gamble and goes, well, I'm just going to punch Amazing Spider-Man and have him drop a cube. That's an option. I think the more conservative option is to go and, eye Gwen cautiously and go and grab the other cube. That's possible. But Pat there trying to really force home difficult choices for Dyzard, trying to threaten a 4-1 extract lead, which, as well as possibly getting both Terrigen Clouds this round, that's going to feel pretty bad. Yeah. So Dyzard's going to have to make some tough choices right now about what he's prioritizing. I think the highest upside is going for Spider-Man, but clearly I've got 5 dice coming into 3. So let's say he's going for Zemo. Oh no, Incinerated Spider-Man would roll 3, wouldn't he? Yeah. So not the best attack roll. And Zemo's reroll is going to be a thing, so he's got a bunch of rerolls potentially.
Only 1 success. Oof.
But no blocks yet. Still no blocks. So that was Spider-Man's Spider Senses. And no more?
I think it was Miles's leadership in Zemo, because he rolled 2 dice. When he had 3 dice, he could reroll.
Ah, right, yeah. So that was an attack into Zemo. Yep, Zemo's taken 1 damage, going to power. Yep, so he's gone for Zemo.
So it looks like he might be... Oh, he doesn't have the power for it yet, unfortunately.
What are you thinking?
But recalibration matrix would have been super nice here.
Yeah. Yep. Maybe.
Okay, so he's just going for another attack.
Seems like it.
And I believe this attack is into Zemo, because if it's Deadpool, that's his only 5 dice attack is his builder.
Having some connection issues here, so apologies for people watching the stream. Mark, if you can do some radio commentary for me while I reconnect.
Yep. So right now, 4 successes into 2 onto Zemo. We're waiting on the rerolls. Play has stopped. Has a player...
Maybe Pat's disconnected as well.
Yeah, I believe Pat has disconnected as well.
That makes me feel...
for Pat to get back in.
Feel a bit better. Some kind of US-UK connection issue rather than just my connection.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. So I guess in the interim, Medusa and Cable, I feel like that was an odd pairing to put on one flank together. Like, sure, you will 100% win that flank, but I think that's too many eggs in one basket. I would have much rather seen a split that looked like Cable, Deadpool, Medusa, Domino, which I think would have balanced the 2 flanks a little bit better and given Spider-Man some tougher choices.
Yeah, I can see that.
On where to retreat.
Here comes Pat's defense roll.
Yep.
Decent.
Yep. And between Miles and Zemo's rerolls, he might just take no damage, which would be an absolute feels bad for Deadpool. But now he gets a damage through.
Yeah, gets 1 through. Um,
And then it looks like he's paying to run his mouth to
yeah,
take away all the power that he just gave Zemo.
seems good. Yep, you don't want to charge up Zemo.
And correct me if I'm wrong, because for whatever reason the spectator client is locking me to a top-down angle.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's on the bottom Terrigen cloud yet, right?
I think Spider-Man is. Uh, yeah,
Well, I guess we'll
Spider-Man's on
know
it.
for sure once Gwen goes, because it looks like she's going to pick up the cube, and then if she stands on the Terrigen mist, that's probably because Peter isn't there.
I'm almost certain Peter is. I just looked, and he has got the little symbol flashing above his head. Not
Okay,
flashing,
yeah,
but
yeah, if he's got the symbol, that's fine. I can't see it from top down,
yeah.
unfortunately.
And also, I can't believe Pat would put him just outside of one. That seems like a crazy place to position him.
Yeah, I was wondering if there was like some horizontal limitation from where he started. But yeah, so Gwen, she is not within 4 of anybody to do anything, so my guess is she might just chill on the car or even get behind it.
Yeah, it's not a bad spot for her. I think on it's probably better because she's just a little bit further forward, more likely to be in range. There's no push effects that would be pulling her in on that side. So yeah, I think on the car's better, just being that little bit closer without. There's no reason to be behind the car.
Yep. Yeah, it gives you omnidirectional cover, which
Yep.
is nice.
And yeah, it hasn't got any way on that side to deny that cover.
Okay, so it looks like she's fishing for a spot.
That's Pat's ruler, yeah.
So, yeah, Gwen might go to within range 4 of Domino to set up for next turn.
Yep.
Or just... Okay, no. Gwen is going to just within 4, so she does threaten some web action next turn if Domino doesn't go immediately. And all Domino can retaliate with is some grenade bounces, which isn't exactly ideal, especially considering how target-rich the environment is for her right now.
Yep. And she'll, of course, Gwen will be in lifesaver range, so she'll have 2 power because of the cube. So.
Yep, which is going to be very impactful considering Zemo's only going to have 1 health at the start of next round, assuming Dyzard moves the mist cloud onto him.
Yep. So Cable's just coming up. 2 moves.
Yep.
Sitting
2
on
moves,
some...
no body slide.
Yeah. Oh no, he's body sliding now to that backstop position we talked about, just the other side of the stop sign.
Yep. Oh, lordy. And is that in cloud range? It looks like no. Because I'm eyeballing that thing, and the stop sign with its base looks like it's 1 inch square. I don't know if that's the actual scale being used in the mod. But like, if that was in real life, I could like almost guarantee you that would be like a 1 inch square base, just because of like
I think Diz has found
what
a
you can
spot that
buy
it's
from
in.
hobby
Yeah.
stores. Okay, he's
Diz
in.
has found a spot that it's in one.
That's really huge then, because that actually means Medusa can leave the top if Shuri can't get rid of Cable.
Well, unless...
But Shuri's just going to go now and displace him, it looks like.
Yeah, just coming off to the side to create that angle that she's going to need. To push him off.
Ooh, I do not like pushing Cable that way. Because that actually gets him closer to the action on bottom if he needs to redeploy.
Yep.
I would very much prefer to see Shuri climb up onto the bugle and push him towards the northboard edge, as I'm going to be calling it, the one closest to the dice trays.
Yeah, I've got the same orientation you do.
Okay. And then, yeah, so it looks like the move for right now is hedging with Miles. He's going to pick up the thing and then presumably run south.
I'd have thought so, because then we're looking at, 4 cubes on that southern portion of the board. And also winning that Terrigen Cloud. That feels like a strong position to be in. Also, running away from Medusa and Cable, that's also a good plan.
Yep, exactly.
And he'll have enough for a web swing next round as well, so he can web swing in and punch someone good.
Okay, so I think Dyzard has correctly recognized that he is losing this game as it's going right now, so he can't actually preserve the top miss cloud. He has to give up the short-term VPs and just reposition ASAP to unscrew this.
Yeah.
Um, and Cable will gladly outfight Shuri, because he's essentially guaranteed to double tap her for all of eternity, because if she shoots him, a body slide will get him back in to double tap range.
Yep.
Um,
Absolutely.
So I expect Shuri to die very quickly, and then Cable will just live on this mist cloud happily while the rest is a 4v4.
Sounds like a good
Unless
plan.
Shuri runs bottom. That's an interesting option.
I mean, I guess she could. Yeah, that's what she's doing. She's just going, I'm having none of that. You can stand there and score 2 VPs and take some damage. I'm going to come and add rerolls to everyone down here. Yep, I don't hate that at all.
Yeah, I think this is a fascinating audible, especially because he can pull the north mist cloud towards the north board edge, which is going to force Cable to either abandon it or be even more irrelevant for the rest of the game. I could also see a swap where, since Pat is entirely abandoning this north side, Black Widow double moves and lives up there, and
Yep.
sure, she dies in a couple of rounds to Cube and Terrigen.
But then she can just pick him up quite happily next round after that. Yeah, I think that's fine.
Yep, so end of round scoring 6-3, Pat's favor.
That'd be interesting, actually, because now that she's not scored Terrigen, she would die to Terrigen damage, not cube damage. That's really important because of the different phases they trigger in. Terrigen, the damage triggering in the control in the cleanup phase, whereas the cube in the power phase. So she, because of the way she is about to take a damage, she would not end up losing a round unless Pat finds a way to put some damage.
Interesting. So Pat actually goes a bit southwest with the cloud, which I'm not sure I agree with. Though we'll definitely have to ask about that in the post, because it seems like yanking Cable north is a much more attractive solution. Though maybe the idea here being that you kind of goad Cable into actually staying on the mist cloud, and so he doesn't fully commit bottom in that scenario.
I think what he might be wanting to do is he might be thinking several turns ahead and thinking, right, well, when Black Widow is dazed and sitting up there, I want to be able to double move Ghost Spider to go, who is hopefully going to be healthy to her injured, to go and take it off her as a last activation.
Yeah, that looks like it's just double long move range right now, so that definitely could be the play in later rounds.
And it could even be this round. I mean, she could move long, get to range 4, web line Widow off it, and then move on to it. She might even be able to webline Widow into punching range, and so she can punch and then move anyway because she's already moved this turn with her spider technique attack. So she might, be able to pick up a cube on the way. Man, this could be a massive... So, Pat clearly seeing through the matrix once again.
Yeah, and I wonder how he's gonna... I wonder how Dyzard's gonna start off the round, because he's got a lot of juicy targets right now.
Yeah.
1 health, Zemo, which if you can force the lifesaver out of Gwen, could be very valuable. So it looks like Domino's going. My guess is she's going to shoot Spider-Man to get the explosive on Zemo.
This looks like a grenade, 4 dice.
And it looks like Gwen did not lifesaver, which would have saved.
Hasn't done anything yet. I think Pat's sort of considering his options.
Dice have started rolling, so
now we've got dice.
Gwen or Domino got it. The only important bit.
Yep, got the wild. Might do some damage to Spider-Man.
one block.
That's all that's needed.
He doesn't have a power to explode the skull, and I don't think he's going to waste his X-Force reroll on this, considering ASM.
Yep. There's bags of rerolls. He's got like 4 rerolls stacked up if he needs them.
Yeah, and unfortunately, she's just outside of range of Spider-Man with rapid-fire options. So...
Yeah, Zemo's become dazed and dropped a cube, which...
Yeah, we'll just go right onto Deadpool, presumably. Oh, Domino. Interesting. I'm not sure if I agree with this play.
Hasn't got the power to pick it up at the minute.
Yeah, and she has literally no way to get power. Because since nobody non-dazed is within range 3 of her, she has no builder options.
Yep, maybe
I mean, I guess you're moving it closer to Medusa and Black Widow, but...
Yeah, but if you put it on Deadpool, then Spider-Man moves up, grabs it, and then runs away and swings away. Can you swing away? No, he wouldn't have the power for it.
Yeah, he would be short on power, but a long move away would be more than enough to make things obnoxious.
Huh. Looks like Amazing Spider-Man's only on 1 power. So has he spent... Oh, he's poisoned. That's why. Poison.
Yep. Les poissons, le poisson. Oh, how I love les poissons.
Fan of fish, then?
No, it's the song from Little Mermaid.
Okay.
The chef sings about how he loves seafood and tries to kill the crab guy.
Gotcha.
I just think about it whenever poison comes up in this game. It's stuck in my brain.
Yeah. So having blown up Spider-Man, Domino is sadly out of range to do anything interesting. So I think Pat disconnected.
So I think her only play is to move at this point, because she can't make a single attack on her card.
She's just moving.
It looks like she's going to retreat.
Yeah, just out of range, because Gwen was just in range 4. Now at least you're making Gwen take an action to get in range.
Yeah, and looks like outside of range 3 of Amazing Spider-Man. Though, if he was sufficiently motivated, he could use the... no, he couldn't have. I was going to say could have used the Spider Tracker. But I'm fairly certain she intentionally moved outside of range 4 of Amazing Spider-Man instead of just barely getting out of 3.
Yeah. So what we're seeing here is Shuri being used sort of early round to push away threats rather than late round to win secures, because I think Pat's feeling pretty confident he's going to win that Terrigen Cloud with all the characters he's got stacked around it.
For people who are familiar with the concept of control versus beatdown, Pat is very much in control right now. So anything he can do to maintain the status quo is in his favor, and Shuri pushing Medusa seems like the play.
Yeah, and just in case you wanted to learn more about that, there's an excellent Danger Room episode on it. I recommend you go and track that down if you haven't listened to it already.
Yeah. Honestly, every tabletop gaming content creator worth their salt should have an episode on who's the beatdown. I feel like it's such an elementary aspect of the game that I just feel not enough people talk about, and like big props on you guys for covering it as well. But like I think it's like the foundation of any 1v1 game.
So quick question from the chat. Who's the character on Pat's side? It's Amazing Spider-Man with that question mark. Yeah, the mod hasn't updated with card images yet, I think, because they haven't got physical cards in America yet.
Every time I see that the like blank character portrait, all I can think of is who's that Pokemon?
Yeah, who's that Spider-Man? Totally. What's going on? No, not the dice going down.
So
This would be an aggressive move.
Yeah, Cable's looking to see if he can just go take out Spider-Man.
Build some power. He's going to be hoping to throw something at him, I reckon. But I don't know if that's going to be quite in range for a throw. Sort of medium.
I think he might have to get closer already. I think he's just out.
He's in range 3, but we know a medium is shorter than a 3 by an inch, so...
Okay, yeah. And the unfortunate thing is where Cable's standing, he is not on the Terrigen Cloud currently, so...
I think Widow's going to be running up there later in the round, so...
Okay, no. So Gwen is going to Lifesaver Miles out.
Ah, yes.
Actually, I don't think that actually saves Miles.
Because it's range 5, but it was measuring
Yeah,
range
if he's still in
3.
range 5. I guess I'll just ping them.
Yeah, they're measuring it now. They're measuring it, and he's still in 5.
Okay, yep. So the attack still goes through. He won't be able to get a second tap, but honestly, Cable is probably going to move back onto the point anyways, so...
I really don't think he will. I'd have gone... I think he's going to shoot twice. He's done the slide by one, so he's still got 2 actions. He's going to shoot... Still going to shoot, and this is only his first action, so I didn't see why he wouldn't get a second shot.
Nobody else is in range 5 outside of Miles who has stealth, who he doesn't ignore normally.
Yeah. It's the stealth that catches me.
Yeah.
So 3. Of course, he's going to use his X-Force reroll because this is, you're right, probably the only attack he's going to make.
Didn't get the Incinerate, which is going to leave him a little bit sad. But...
Not yet. Maybe on the reroll. Fish for that wild.
And Miles might take no damage here. No, he takes 1.
Dyzard electing not to reroll, which is interesting.
No, he pre-rerolled. He jumped the gun on it.
Gotcha.
Because outside of...
Yeah.
Well, yeah, so I guess he should have waited to see if Shuri was going to pay. Because Shuri is in the game. Otherwise, if it wasn't for Shuri, you essentially don't need to wait to do your rerolls. Well, I guess Domino too.
But a lot of them aren't paid for, so you're going to just roll the dice anyway.
Wait, it looks like he passed without moving again?
He is on the cloud there. So,
he is on the cloud? Okay.
Yeah, he is on the cloud, so I think he's happy with Cable sitting on that cloud.
Okay, the orthographic projection is throwing me for a loop. Okay, thanks to the bonus power that he got given, he can now web swing up and guaranteed pick up the cube.
Yep.
So the question is, who does he kick? My guess is Deadpool. But you could be a little bit cagey and worried.
He's going for Domino.
Okay, yeah, so this is the more conservative play. Kicking away Deadpool is nice, but if you one-shot him, it's not ideal, I don't think.
No blocks.
But with a roll like that, yeah.
Yeah, but only 1 damage through.
He got the wild, though, which is the important bit.
Yeah, going to be throwing her away. Yeah, and in fact, you're probably very happy with that result of not very much damage, so you're not generating a load of power for them to come back and make big attacks back at you. But you are... Well, I think they're just talking about cover. Can they get cover? Because then that would be no damage, which would actually be better. I think maybe Dyzard wants to just take a damage and get that power, start building it up in Domino. Cover is optional, you don't have to use it as a modification.
Yeah, Domino's having a real power economy problem this game. So
taking a damage
any power she can get from getting slapped around a little bit, I think she would be very much a fan of.
So I think they've agreed she has got cover by the looks of it.
So it looks like Sherry's going to spend 2 for rerolls. Which is going to pay off excellently with 3 successes.
So they're not playing this in a high competitive environment. I think they're being a little bit fast and loose with the timing of paying for rerolls, but neither of them seem to mind. So they're playing it on a more casual basis, given the nature of this.
Technically, at the stage they were at, it was still fine because none of them had reroll effects that they had done up until that point. So they had essentially done the initial rolls with no crits.
I suppose Dyzard didn't give Pat a chance to choose rerolls before he rolled his dice. So that's maybe a bad play on Dyzard's part there. Yeah, the way they've ruled it is if the defender does roll their dice first,
sorry. Yeah.
then that you're just giving
the gun,
you're just giving your opponent free information.
I blame the Vicodin. Okay, so he's going to move back and hold the point, which leads me to believe that Amazing Spider-Man is going to leave that point and hopefully never return, because I don't think he likes being poisoned.
Nope. Just a comment from Refugee saying that Miles had stealth. I think that was in reference to when Cable attacked after the lifesaver. The stealth would only trigger in the earlier steps, and so in step 2 you check targeting, and then in step 2D you can trigger effects like lifesaver, but it's already targeted, which means the stealth trigger check has already happened, and so the fact he's now outside of range 3 doesn't matter because it's not checked again after step 2D, which is when the lifesaver triggers in. Slightly complex.
If you read lifesaver specifically, it says that you only check range and LOS again, but with the way that stealth is worded, it doesn't prevent people from attacking you outside range 5, just targeting. So yeah, since we've bypassed that step, the attack still goes through. It's one of the quirkier interactions with lifesaver / trickster.
Yeah, and stealth. Yeah, so just good to see that in action. But they did play it right. Miles' stealth wouldn't have helped him there. It did stop him from getting attacked a second time, though. So Miles has just painted a big target on his head. If Dyzard can get just 1 damage on Miles, potentially with Deadpool, then he's going to daze himself in the power phase.
Medusa might also have some promise with a Royal Decree single move attack.
Yep. So just placing off Black Widow there, just to get her a little bit more distance, single move, and then range 3. That might well be in.
Yeah.
And then she's got plenty of flurry targets if Miles is within 3.
Deadpool, I don't think has any great targets right now. I guess he could just try and bang Amazing Spider-Man to death, which I'll never get tired of saying while commentating, by the way.
I think that was the designer's intention.
Oh, I just assumed it was just a reference to, isn't it Marvel vs. Capcom, where his, ultimate is he just starts yelling bang over and over again and just, shoots a bunch of bullets over the screen?
That's not a game.
But the sexual innuendo is on brand for Deadpool too, so... Yeah. Okay, so it looks like he's just going to move Black Widow to set up a perfect Royal Decree.
Yep. Maximize the distance on Medusa. Keep her safe. She's carrying a cube. She's got stealth as well, so she's currently safe from Gwen's attacks, but I guess Gwen, if she really wanted, could pull her in with a web line. Move up. She's probably just out of 4 there. Looking at that 4, we can see on the top, looks like Widow would be just out of 4. But you could just move Gwen up, pull Widow in, punch Widow, and then you get a free move with Gwen after that.
Yeah, I think pulling Widow out of position is a great move here. Or you could even just pull Cable off the point. Unfortunately, Gwen's holding a cube. If Gwen was holding no cube, I would say the no-brainer play is pull Cable off, walk onto the Terrigen Cloud, and force Dyzard to send somebody back. But since she's holding a cube, there actually is some kind of value off of this. So I wonder if we're going to just see some kind of conservative displacement play where you pull Cable off,
and
just
retreat.
Essentially the bare minimum south you can, as west as humanly possible, and then essentially move back. And so now, since Black Widow can't go onto the Mist Cloud, your only option for getting back on the cloud is Medusa.
He's taking the impact webbing attack and hoping for the wild to push him off, but sadly hasn't got it.
Okay, yeah, that's a good fish.
And then he may still choose to... It gets power on her. He may still choose to web line. No, he's just leaving cable there. Just happy. He was
Oh,
going...
she doesn't have the power. That's the problem.
Ah, yeah, because she's pay for life save, of course. Of course.
I kind of would have liked to have seen a Shuri reroll there to fish for it at this stage. But
yeah, what's Shuri on? Shuri's on. There's only one power though. Maybe he thinks there's more important things to save that power for.
yeah,
I can see a Shuri move, push cable off. Maybe that would have been a safer play as a guaranteed displacement. But
yeah.
then
Well, with
she's out of
Shuri
position.
already gone at this point, it's a little bit unfortunate.
Course, yeah.
Next round, that's definitely in the cards, though. Gwen will be able to do something similar. I think we might also see the cloud get pulled north again anyways, or north this round as opposed to last round's, pulling it south.
I think Dyzard is just being a little bit cagey with Medusa, having sort of seen Pat's intentions up there. Oh, we've got some bit of rivals coming out.
Rivals coming through.
On to Shuri.
So it looks like Amazing Spider-Man's gonna mess the F up, hopefully.
Well, I think Medusa's and Deadpool are gonna do their damnedest. But yeah, now an incinerated bit of rivals. It's Amazing Spider-Man. That's one of the easier Amazing Spider-Man to kill. So we got 4 dice coming in. So is this a bang from Deadpool?
Yeah. Spider-Man does have cover here, interestingly enough. For whatever reason, the character cards loading isn't working for me.
Yeah, it's not working.
Does Miles's leadership say you can modify skulls or re-roll them?
Modify, so you can turn that skull into cover. I mean, he's got a blank that he can do it too, but he can re-roll. He can also re-roll the skulls. He's got 2 dice to re-roll.
Yeah, so he's going to re-roll both.
Yeah.
Okay, so Deadpool gets 3 successes. It looks like he didn't get the bang bang, unfortunately. Spider-Man's only going to block 1, it looks like.
So
he's got more reroll stacking.
Zemo
no, he blocks 2 after cover.
Yeah, no Zemo reroll because Zemo's dazed, so that must be Miles' leadership.
Miles' leadership.
I finally had it confirmed.
So 1 damage, and then Deadpool's going to try again. Oh, he's got the wilds this time. It requires a hit too, right?
Well, he's got a Yahtzee on offense.
Yep. Well, I think that's just going to be Amazing Spider-Man right then and there.
And then the bang, the extra attack it generates, is that into the same target, or can that be a different target?
I believe it has to be same target. Yep, so blocking 2, taking 2, so Amazing Spider-Man will actually be on 1. And then the Bang Bang has to...
X-Force reroll.
No, I don't think that was X-Force reroll. I think that was Amazing Spider-Man reroll.
Oh, right, yeah. His quitty whipping...
Which actually did pay off there, I think, because he forced the hit to be rerolled into a not hit, so he doesn't get an extra attack. So Amazing Spider-Man lives on 1, and that's going to be Deadpool done.
That was pretty big, and smart there from Pat choosing to reroll the hit and not the wild because there was a spare wild. So, unsurprisingly, Pat making good decisions.
Yeah, so I think at this point you just try and kick Deadpool to death a couple of times and then run away. Get dazed to the cube at the beginning of next round.
Well, there's not a lot. There's nothing you can do about that. That's going to happen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as opposed to staying on the Terrigen Cloud and getting dazed by the Terrigen Cloud and not scoring the cube.
No, you'd score
not scoring the cube. Yeah. Oh, so you would actually want to stay on the Terrigen
Cloud. Yeah, you stay on the
Terrigen
Terrigen Cloud, so you don't get to lose the action. And then he's already poisoned, and he's going to daze and lose the poison. So you don't want to have to put another character on there, because I don't think that this can get anyone else onto that Terrigen Cloud now that Domino and Deadpool have acted. And Black Widow, I don't think Medusa's going to get on there. So Spider-Man, I think, is going to just sit there, go, well, I'm going to get dazed anyway, I might as well get dazed in this turn rather than skipping my whole next turn. That seems like the better play. Though he looks like he's having a look. Can I go over and do something to cable? So the 5 is kind of a rough approximate for a long move and a 50mm base, I guess. And then I think Pat's doing some inventive maths there with the measuring sticks.
Weaponized trigonometry, as we used to call it back in the War Machine days.
Again, there's a great episode of The Danger Room with Suzume Kazo or Leaf on that. So if you want some tips, go and check that out.
Yep, and in fact, actually, right before this episode, I was listening to Monday's episode because I missed it. It was fun to catch up on that one and all the love for Moon Knight that I have personally experienced.
So Pat's doing some serious measuring here. And I can't see into his head as to what that's for. Range 2. So
he could...
Oh, he's looking at a web, I guess a web swing?
Yeah, I wonder if he's looking at a web swing into a spider strike onto Black Widow trying to daze her and back off.
Maybe grab her cube and go, if I'm going to get dazed, I might as well get like extra dazed.
Yeah, because I think if he goes to max 3 of Black Widow and then long moves away, it's going to be very difficult for Medusa to chase him. But it doesn't look like he's actually aiming for max 3 here.
I think he's wanting to be outside of 2. That's what the 2 on Black Widow was about.
Okay, no, he is trying to go for max 3, but since it's a range 3 place he's using the swing for, he has to use the medium tool to approximate being in range 3.
Which we know is an inch shorter than the range 3.
I thought it was closer to a half inch, but yeah.
Pretty sure that the medium tool is pretty much exactly 5 inches long. I could be wrong on that though. Not a great attack on 6 dice.
Yep.
So it's not going to take her down, but he has got another attack if he wants to chase that dream.
Is he gonna try and go for the Shuri reroll here though to see if he can get the momentum?
What's the trigger for the momentum is?
I believe it's crit wild. The quality of the skin I'm looking at is a little bit dubious, but I believe it is crit wild.
Yeah, so it's kind of chasing a dream. I feel like Shuri's power is going to have more uses. Really, I think defense is what she's going to be.
For defense,
yeah, because that's the right play. He doesn't need to chase that dream. He doesn't need to chase the days on Black Widow. He doesn't need all of this. Is just making the position for Dyzard even worse if it does come off. He's in a very strong position as it is, and I think those rerolls on defense are going to be more valuable. Looks like Black Widow is going to try and do some counter-attack damage.
Ooh, this could actually backfire big time for...
That's, 2 damage. Ouch.
That's really an unfortunate error from Pat.
Yeah, I mean, we don't see a lot of Black Widow. So he might have just completely forgotten that was on her card.
So I wonder if Medusa now does a double move. Pick up the cube, move onto the Terrigen Cloud.
Well, it looks like she's doing a place. And then she's going to see... That's used up all her power, so she better hope someone's in range 3 for her to punch. Because Zemo's dazed, Spider-Man's dazed. So she's going to move... There you go, she's going to take a first action move so that Shuri's in range 3 and she's still within 1 of that cube.
Okay.
Punch Shuri, maybe twice. Get some power.
Shuri does get cover here. And if you're able to throw Miles up, I'm not sure if she got within 3 of Miles, unfortunately.
And you might be able to throw Shuri into for a last point of damage just to put an extra bit of hurt in.
So 4 successes to 2 on Shuri, with cover is going to be 3, so 2 damage.
1 damage.
Oh, sorry, I misread it as 5 successes. Yep.
But no wild, so no flurry.
Yeah,
But
but
that
it
gave
is
power to
still
pick up the
enough
cube,
to.
so that's what she's done. She's immediately spent that power to grab the cube, which was all he really cared about.
And then do you yank Shuri north or back towards deployment? I
Yeah.
think it.
He's looking at moving her out of 5, yeah. Straight
Yeah.
away from Medusa. Let's get her out 5. Okay, so Dyzard, that little mistake there from Pat, sort of given Dyzard a little bit of momentum in terms of the scoring.
Yeah, so it's going to go 11-7 at the end of this round. And I think Dyzard is actually in a pretty good spot to make an attritional comeback here.
Yeah, apart from Pat's going to have priority, is the only downside.
Yep. So Dyzard's just going to move the cloud up onto Miles.
Yeah, looks like Miles was scoring that Terrigen, so.
Yep.
That's going to, do another point of damage. Would you just run away with Miles? Take those 2 cubes and take them to a bit of safety? Yeah. Pat taking that cloud further away.
That's assuming Dyzard lets him, but yes, I think that's a very good play.
Pat's got priority.
Oh, yeah. Then first move.
Because Pat only needs 5 points here. So if he runs away with 2 cubes, then they're relatively safe. Then he only needs 3. He's already holding 1 cube, and he's got plenty of displacement effects to try and score one of the Terrigens.
Oh, Miles actually dazed because of the Terrigen.
Oh, and the cube. 1 from Terrigen, 1 from the cube.
And the cubes, yep. 2 from the cubes, yeah, because he's holding 2. So.
Yep, he's not.
I now fully expect Amazing Spider-Man to pick them up wherever they get placed.
And well, if Dyzard's smart, he'll try and splay them as much as possible and make Amazing Spider-Man take 2 moves to pick them up, and therefore limit the distance he can get away from Medusa. And then maybe
with 4 power, he can pick up both the cubes and web swing, so he'll get a long move from the safest cube.
Yeah, doing a decent job of trying to spread them out. So that means very likely Pat's going to have priority in the next round as well. Now, he probably at this stage would be quite happy not to have priority so that he can do his control stuff and end up on the portals. Dyzard's going to have to be trying to make sure. It's interesting though now, because the only healthy characters that Pat has left are Gwen and Shuri, who are both on...
Okay, pretty sneaky sis coming through.
Yep.
Amazing Spider-Man, it doesn't really affect Amazing Spider-Man in his current position because everyone he's either not within 3 of or within 2 of for valid targets. But it will be a big help on preventing control effects from coming down on Cable that push him backwards. Gwen can pull him in, but I think he wants to be coming south at this stage.
So Spider-Man is spending 3?
Yep, for an all-webbed up, which is going to catch Deadpool, Medusa, and I believe Black Widow, but not Domino.
Well, that takes away that double grab runaway play that you were talking about.
Yeah, I think Pat has chosen violence.
Well, yeah, it seems like a decent strategy.
I mean, I guess technically it's possible we could see like a Gwen double move, pick up both the cubes, chill over here, but I don't think that's going to be the play here.
It doesn't have to be Amazing Spider-Man who's activating now.
Yeah.
Because you can play all webbed up on any one of your character's activations.
But assuming he's got Zemo support, I actually really just like kicking the shit out of Medusa and Deadpool here.
Is he within 2 of them?
Well, Medusa, it doesn't matter. Deadpool, I'm fairly certain he is. But again, I'm stuck to a top-down angle, so I can't tell.
So it looks like Pat is probably going to go with Spider-Man, and he's looking like he's targeting Medusa. After a bit of deliberation, throwing some dice into Medusa, see how that goes.
So Jay Deaton says if Pat stays and wins that Terrigen, Dyzard just moves it away so that he dazes to cubes anyways. I'm not sure.
But if Pat wins, maybe that was before. Yeah, that was from last round.
Yeah.
Possibly we're catching up on old chats.
Yeah. Okay, so attack coming in 4 successes so far before rerolls into 2 with a crit hanging.
Yep, so it looks like he rolled in the crit, but he hasn't done Medusa's reroll.
Well, he hasn't done Medusa's crit either.
He did do the crit.
Oh,
no, he re-rolled into the crit. That's why there's still only 4 dice. Yeah, so he has done the reroll. It re-rolled into the crit, which is why it didn't explode.
Why is Medusa being moved short? I'm a little bit...
I think he's playing Warpath, maybe?
Oh, that makes a hell of a lot more sense.
Yep. Pay 1, move short. Towards Spider-Man.
But if Spider-Man did his builder, shouldn't... Oh, no, he didn't actually get the momentum. Man, that momentum trigger is way trickier than I had originally realized.
Haven't run the maths on that yet, but that's one maybe I should look into. It also changes if he's done the web swing, because that gives him the extra dice.
Yeah, so it looks like he's swinging onto the Terrigen Mist Cloud.
And is he also within one of that cube? Seems pretty likely. So now he's going to get the big dice into Medusa. Oof.
Ooh, yep, that's a momentum. Not like there's anyone within 2 of Medusa to throw though.
And she's going to be dazed. she's not surviving that.
Yep. This kills the Medusa. And with all that power, he'll pick up both the cubes and essentially threaten to win as long as Peter doesn't get yeeted into oblivion by some combination of the rest of the forces.
Well, it's got to be... There's 1 attack from Domino and probably 2 attacks.
Well, so here's where it gets tricky, because Spider Tracker.
Yeah. Yep, that's going to be on the cards.
Which is going to limit...
How much power? No, he's got 2 power.
Yeah, he'll have 2 power after picking up the cubes.
So, and Spider Tracker, newer card.
Cable.
Yeah, it does cost 2 power.
And he's disarming Deadpool. Okay, yeah, I like that play there. Cable can bypass Spider Tracker by body sliding into range because it requires a move action, not a movement.
I'm not sure.
Some people say any kind of movement, like Mysterio, but or like tricks and traps. A lot of those reactive tricks do, but Spider Tracker specifies move action, and since body slide is not a move action, he'll be able to get a single tap into Amazing Spider-Man with Cable if he decides that's the line.
Well, having spent for the disarm now, he can't afford to spend for the Spider Tracker, so he's chosen the disarm defensive tech rather than the Spider Tracker defensive tech.
Oh, yep. Well, now I guess it comes to a weird ordering issue because somebody goes... I sincerely doubt one character is going to be able to deal with Spider-Man.
Seems unlikely, doesn't it?
Which means if they partially kill him, the second character can finish it off. Oh, Cable doesn't have power for a body slide. Okay, that's very problematic. Is he in range of Gwen? I would rather see him shoot Gwen to try and fish for the body slide if that's in the cards, because Gwen doesn't... Once she has 2 power, she has all the power she needs, so her sitting at 3 isn't the end of the world.
Oh man, Cable's immune to poison. I did not realise that.
Yeah.
Okay, so this looks like we're going into Gwen? Just Cable into Gwen?
I think...
Deadpool into Zemo? I'm a bit lost as what this attack is. Let's see.
No, I believe it's Cable into Gwen to see if he can get the power to...
Yeah, it's incinerated Gwen.
Yeah, and unfortunately he doesn't do damage. There's no way a
So he's just
Reroll
gonna
will
take.
fix that, so I think he's just going to tap her again and pray.
It's a better roll.
3 successes.
She's going to have cover. She's got a defensive reroll, but I think he should be getting one through on this.
With 4 successes, if her reroll does not become a success, he actually does daze her, which might be impactful. Yep, so that'll daze Gwen.
Nice. So that means that Pat has to get another cube from somewhere, which is Black Widow. If he wants to win this round, he either needs to, needs to get another cube. So I don't think Shuri is making that top Terrigen. Zemo?
Well, there's the cube to the south of Zemo. I think he wants to
keep
Zemo there to keep Amazing Spider-Man reroll stacking going, but I could very much see a Steel Rush onto the Cosmic Cube Fragment, or Strike Deadpool, Steel Rush if you do a damage, so that you have exactly enough power to medium move over there and
no, Steel Rush doesn't.
Spider-Man safe.
Steel Rush doesn't generate power outside of Cabal.
No, I'm saying Strike and then Steel Rush.
Right, yeah.
If you get the damage on the first attack.
I see, yeah. Yeah, that would work if you got one through with Strike.
If you daze Deadpool at that stage, I feel like it's almost lights out.
Yeah, and Miles.
Wait, Gwen lived on 1?
Looks
I'm really confused about what happened there.
She blocked 2. Yeah, she took 2. Yeah, because she rerolled in.
Rerolls.
Yeah.
Okay, so that changes things significantly, because
you
now
can see he paid.
it is very difficult for Dyzard to get out of this hole.
He's got to try and score both Miss Clouds, and he's only got 3 characters left to do that. I think the only person who can still score the top. He doesn't need to score the top one. He just needs to stop Pat from scoring it, and I think. Because not taking out Ghost Spider means that she can just double move up there now and go.
Yeah, if Dyzard can prevent Pat from winning this round, I feel reasonably okay about his odds, because at that stage, he's playing for attrition, and I think he outpunches, especially because if he survives this round, that probably means that Amazing Spider-Man was KO'd. And from there, I think he would theoretically be able to run the table, hold both Terrigen Clouds and a majority of the cubes, and I think he would be relatively fine with that. But we'll see how this plays out. I think Pat's very favored at this board.
Oh, for sure. Pat's clearly in the lead. I think taking out, it's almost worth hunting down Ghost Spider, I think. So this is Zemo charging.
Zemo's charging Black
into
Widow.
Strike into Black Widow. Should be counting blanks, but hasn't got any yet. Well, there's one. She'll count that. So she's got 2 blocks. So she should take 1 by the looks of it.
1 damage, which is not ideal.
Yep, that's enough to daze her. That's all I needed.
Yep. And that lets Zemo pick up the cube and run away. Ideally back to defending Spider-Man, my guess is on top of the car, such that he gets cover against any range shenanigans that are happening.
Okay.
But still hands out the reroll aura to the best of his ability.
Yeah, so now the Gwen is irrelevant now that he's got another cube on a character. Because Miles is scoring 2 from the Terrigen Cloud, and they've got 3 cubes. So you've got to take out. He's got 4 cubes at the minute. So he's got to take out 2 points somewhere. So either you've got to get Miles off. No, it's Spider-Man.
Just 1 point, right?
No, because he's got 6 on the board at the minute. He's got 4 cubes and the cloud. That's 6. So you need to take 2 points off him. Which the obvious thing to do is you've got to take out Spider-Man. He's actually scoring 4 of the points. He's got 2 cubes, and he's the only character on the cloud, or is Zemo on the cloud as well? Zemo's on the cloud too. So I don't think you can. I mean, barring completely ludicrous dice, I don't think you can take out both of them. So you need to take out, to get 2 points away from Pat, you've got to take out Amazing Spider-Man. You've just got to hope for good dice. Otherwise, this is it for Dyzard.
Oh, is he about to get blown out by fucking Spider Tracker? Okay, no. Deadpool can't single move. I thought Deadpool was going to move to try and catch Gwen, but It's not in the cards.
What was he measuring? Lifesaver.
Okay, so Deadpool's just gonna move and pick up the thing.
That puts him. I don't love that. I think I'd have been going all in Spider-Man. So I think that was his only option. Looks like he might be thinking about doing something a bit different.
Yep.
No, still climbing.
Yeah, so he's just gonna climb into sword strike range.
But he's been disarmed, hasn't he?
Yeah. I really do not love this, but
I mean, you just got to pray for three crits if you're Dyzard, haven't you? There's not Pat's given him
the
all
problem
bad
is if
options.
you actually do a damage, that opens up Spider Tracker again.
Yeah, and Pat doesn't need to carry on rerolling. He's got plenty. He's got plenty of blocks. Look at that. Gosh.
Pat's just rubbing it in with stacking God knows how many different reroll effects there.
5
At least 3,
blocks.
access to a 4th.
5 blocks on. So that leaves just Domino, who is going to move and get 1 attack. And it might not even get 1 attack. Might even be 1 small attack. But yeah, Gwen's going to move up onto. She's got the power to. She's going to punch and then get a free move because of Spider Technique. Yep. Well, I think that's Dyzard's dice. They haven't been particularly bad, but
like Dyzard's dice. Literally 0 successes.
So it takes that one, a little bit of pain, and maybe Pat doesn't even need to bother about the points. Yeah, he was considering doing like a web line, but thinks, no, I'll just go and get those VPs.
Yeah, with Cable already gone, it's kind of irrelevant at this point. I think
Yeah.
the game's on lock, guaranteed at this point, because Domino can at max daze 1 character.
Yeah.
Which...
Yeah, Pat's got 8 points on the board, and Dyzard needs to limit him to 4.
2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
Okay, now theoretically, if Domino one-shots... No, actually, no, that still doesn't work yet.
Because
she is in rapid-fire range, so she's going to try and even up the score a bit.
Yeah, but only of Spider-Man. So even if she takes out Spider-Man with 1 shot, not super likely, to say the least, she's got no one else to pump a second shot into. So this is the last action. I think Pat hasn't handed out some ticks, but I don't think it's a big deal. I think this is the last activation. Gwen's gone. Shuri's gone.
Shuri has not gone, which is also part of the problem.
that's a problem.
Domino's gonna move up.
I guess she's
gonna pull an Arnold. Just kill me! Do it now!
Yeah.
Pardon me.
Where's Shuri gone? She disappeared off the board.
Okay, I'm not the only one seeing that. I've seen a lot of weird visual clippings this game.
No, it's the first one I've seen, but I think we can see her shadow. She's just kind of floating high above it.
Can you see the one to the north of Cable? I don't know exactly what it is. It's like a token of some sort, clearly.
Yeah.
It looks like a manhole cover.
It looks like they have moved the VPs up, I think they called it. Should we jump back in the other channel?
Yeah, sounds good.
Hey guys.
Yeah, the context for it was bad, like you said.
But, like, you still had another attack, too, after that, though, didn't you?
Yep.
Yeah, so, like, I don't know, it saved you from attacking again onto somebody else. But it definitely, it gave you the game, in my opinion, because if you have this turn dazed Miles and dazed Peter, your biggest hitter is going to be Zemo. So Medusa doesn't go down.
Yeah, Zemo's not great against Medusa. Doesn't get three rolls.
So Medusa doesn't go down. You probably save Disarm for the next round, and it's a much closer game at that point. So yeah, the Counter-Strike was an absolute. In the moment, it seemed decent, but I should have just let you die to the cubes anyways. That was the biggest mistake.
Yeah, it was definitely a sweet Counter-Strike, but like you said, it didn't work out for the best. It was a fun game though. Thank you very
Oh
much.
yeah, no, absolutely fun. Again, like
Really
the Zemo play in the very beginning was just like, what's happening?
It was daring, that's for sure. Love that daring Zemo play.
Were you tempted at all, Dyzard, to counter daring play with Deadpool?
I thought about it, but I was like, this normally bites me, so I'm just gonna play safe because I was like, I need to bring everybody over to this side anyways, and I'm just gonna leave the biggest. I'm trying to think. I don't know. I think it worked out for me because I just sat there and I got Zemo down round 2. Was it 2? So Zemo went down a little bit early, which was nice. So basically, just used it to set up instead of going after Shuri. But I don't know. I think leaving Deadpool back here was fine.
What was the counter, sorry, to Zemo with Deadpool?
Because
sitting Deadpool after Shuri or going after the other cube.
yeah, going
But
after the cube.
you can only move once, right, with Cat and Mouse?
Oh yeah. He can only
of course,
move once.
yeah.
That's
So you
right.
can't even do
That's
that.
right.
For sure. Pat, interesting. You had an interesting choice of defensive techs in that last round. Why did you choose disarm over saving the power for the spider tracker?
Because Deadpool is slowed and he has decent range for attacks. I thought Spider Tracker was definitely going to be good, but all my characters on this side are injured, so like Deadpool can just walk up onto this cloud and score it if I'm not positioned in such a way to try and block him. So I don't really want my characters to move away from him because that frees up the blocking. It just seems against Deadpool in particular, where his best attack in that moment was 4 dice rapid fire, disarm just seems to be really effective.
Okay, no, just interested to hear your thought process there.
I definitely wanted a moment for Spider Tracker, and there might have been one, but it was a little bit awkward because Gwen was so far away, and both the Spider-Men were really strapped for power or lying dead. So it never really came up, I think.
So I guess rolling back to team construction real quick. Advanced R&D felt really conspicuously missing from your team, Pat. Was there a particular reason? Just because Web Warriors in general are famous for having awful power economy, and advanced R&D is a common way to alleviate that.
Yeah, it was tempting. There were 2 reasons I didn't go for it. The first is because it was cubes. I felt like my turn 1 plays didn't demand it so much because okay, I've got 4 out of 5 of my characters love the extra power for advanced R&D, right? Zemo can charge, Ghost Spider has Lifesaver turned on, both the Spider-Men can web swing. But 3 of those 4 are going to go pick up a cube. And if they're picking up a cube, advanced R&D isn't going to necessarily enable them on turn 1. I mean, it might, depending on what Dyzard does and with positioning, but it's not guaranteed. And the cube itself enables them on turn 2. So I felt like it wasn't necessary because of the power from cubes. They can each pick up a cube, and then on turn 2 they can each have 2 power to do their cool thing.
Fair enough. I'm trying to think of anything.
Well, I want to know about Dyzard, your Cable Medusa up at the top there on your right as you look at it. What was your thinking when you were putting them up there?
That they were just gonna run that side, and then I looked across and completely forgot about the fact that I can't do anything on that side. As soon as we started, I'm like, I completely messed up my deployment because I'm like, I can't hit Shuri, I can't hit Miles round 1 because Shuri's gonna wait till last and Miles has stealth. I kind of recovered from it just because that stop sign's there, being able to tuck Cable into the stop sign.
Yep.
So I was able to recover slightly. But I don't know. I just had a bad deployment, to be completely honest. Could have just been Cable over there by himself, if anything. And Medusa, being Medusa on the other side would have helped, or just put Cable in the middle and play that game.
Yeah, I liked your stop sign play. I was really hoping that Shuri would force Medusa and Cable to go to this Terrigen Cloud in the first round, and that would have just been a disaster for you. But your stop sign play stop that. I think probably if I were in your position, the thing that I was worried about you doing, and I know why you didn't prioritize it with priority because you had murder to do, but I was worried that you would just rotate Black Widow onto this cloud and free up Cable.
Yeah,
Um,
that was the goal, but I needed. I should have done it last round. Instead of, but she enabled Medusa to get in there.
Did you
Yeah.
So,
did you consider just leaving Black Widow on the cloud round one, sending her up there, and then
um,
going, here's some bait. If you want to come and eat her, then Medusa and Cable are going to eat you back.
my thought process with Widow was she was gonna end up on the cloud eventually, but I wanted to make it so that way she had nothing really to worry about. She could just go sit over there and score me 3 points. It just took a little too long. I couldn't stop him enough to make it where it was actually playable to where how slow I was going. So I needed to do it sooner. But I thought I could make it last to where she could go and do it this turn. But this was the turn that she was gonna do it.
This was a very tempo game, right? Where I was able, because I scored 6 on the first round, it's quite doable with 9 points for me to score 5 twice, being the more scoring focused team. And I was just desperately trying to get that fast tempo because I do feel like the attrition is getting away from me, especially with all the damage the Crisis is doing.
Yeah.
Like, probably over half the damage I took in this game is from the Crisis.
Oh, absolutely.
And like, look, my team is half dead. I can't play this Crisis for like 2 more rounds, right? So I definitely thought I need to like try and get a big tempo swing and get ahead early and just stay ahead. And to that end, I wasn't too worried about doing things like contesting this Terrigen because I didn't need to stop you scoring points. I just needed to score enough myself, and that helped inform my full swing round to one side.
And then my thing is, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying like my side of that is I need to, and you think I would have it down by now, of knowing the balance of when I just give up on the objective. But it's also like if I had done the right play and not Counter-Strike, then I have, 4 cubes this turn? And then if I had stayed on Terrigen, that's 6 for me, which puts me actually ahead of you this turn instead of you winning.
Yes.
Yeah.
One of the reasons your Counter-Strike, I think, was defensible, even though in hindsight, Spider-Man's round was amazing, right?
Yeah.
But if you let Spider-Man kill Black Widow, that's 2 more victory points I scored in the previous round.
That's true.
So your Counter-Strike gave you 2 victory points that otherwise would go to me. So it did help the scoring.
Then,
it's just it gave me.
And then it's really just really hoping Medusa lives, because Medusa lives to where she can actually activate. Then I think things change a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know what the odds are of Medusa surviving. I
don't think
felt
they're not
like
very high.
I thought I had lots of interesting options with what to do with Spider-Man, and I thought Medusa was the higher risk, higher reward target.
Yeah.
Like the super safe bet is like kill Black Widow, maybe kill Deadpool, or kill Black Widow, run away. But I thought, my odds of killing Medusa are probably good enough. I should just go for it.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think you take her out 9 times out of 10. Like, it's that one that didn't happen. But no, it was still fun. Like, it's definitely a very interesting format. Like, this is not the super ideal list that I want for this matchup. The tactics are like the weirdest spot, like, to be completely honest. I'm sitting here and I'm like, man, with this list, I really want R&D. I really want all you got. Like, that's like the hard part about X-Force is like all the tactics cards they want are so spread out. I feel like this list really isn't that bad though. Like, playing Widow for the first time since I've got into the game when the core box came out, like, I really have not played Widow probably since then, and relearning her was pretty fun.
Yeah, I think she's a pretty good inclusion because she gives you a cheap thing that can focus on scoring while your other characters focus on murder. And like her mixed technique really loves the X-Force reroll, right? Because its payoff on damage is so high. So I don't think she's bad at all. I think your characters are good.
I do think this is a solid 17. Yeah, I definitely, for not having the tactics cards I want, I don't think it's terrible. Like, I got Bitter Rivals, and Recal is nice because it comes with what was it?
Domino.
I don't even remember now. Yeah, Domino. There it is.
Yeah.
And Warpath was pretty cool though, because we were talking about it. And I'm like Warpath probably saved Black Widow from just getting her Spider-Man thrown into her with momentum. even though you didn't get it on the first one. So I was like, let me get out of here, and that way the second one, if it pops off, you don't get it.
Yeah, and it did, because the second one triggered and it did save
Oh
you from
yeah,
that,
yeah.
which
The
is quite
Warpath
cool.
was. I like Warpath a lot.
Yeah, and
Like,
it put you in a super relevant
relevant
position if you managed to survive the second attack.
Mm-hmm.
Like, really good position.
Yeah, I was like, if I can go into here, then it really sets me up if I live. Never really had the chance to play Recal just because I was using my power for everything else. Which comes down to one of X-Force's biggest downsides, in my opinion, is they really don't have the power to do things they want until they're doing damage, and your defensive rules really make it so I'm not doing the damage that I want to be doing.
Yeah, I was hoping that my really good defense would offset your offense, and it definitely kept me going, right? You made lots of attacks that did very
Yeah.
small amounts of damage, like
It was-
chipping away at me.
But it was kind of interesting though, like the scenario setup. Between the scenario setup and the chip damage I was doing is what was killing you. Like the
Hey, it
scenario
was
did more
enough,
damage,
right?
but it was like just enough every single time.
Yeah.
I love Medusa in X-Force though. Like she's just so good here. It makes me sad that I don't have her in my tournament roster right now.
Yeah, she was awesome. Very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one card I really felt I was missing was a med pack or a patch up. I kind of regret not taking patch up, especially for this crisis, right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, for me, if I had to look at like taking a different box, like it's like the only box I can swap out is Medusa, and she's just too good in X-Force, and Bitter Rivals is Bitter Rivals.
And the Crisis as well.
Yeah, and the Crisis. Like I like Terrigen. But what was real funny is after I put my list together and everything was submitted, I have to play Black Bolt if I want to be affiliated at 20. Because I can't get Sabretooth or Wolverine, so I don't
You
have
can
a full
play
threat.
Black Belt and Medusa, right? The King and Queen. Along
Yeah,
with X-Force. That's a cool roster.
Yeah, I could go like this, and then X-Force. Like I could have done that for 20, which is kind of interesting. But I like 17 more, and plus I don't want to give you Black Cat on cubes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Having a good 17 in this format clearly is super important.
Yeah, definitely. I really like this 17 roster. It's very kind of fundamental Red Warriors, right? Just really using Miles' leadership well and playing a game where you're very, very mobile. You've got good control.
Yeah.
You've got a couple of aggressive options, especially with all the rerolls from Zemo and Shuri. You can do some damage if you need to.
Yeah.
We did wonder, Pat, whether you would have experimented with Amazing Spider-Man's leadership.
I'm not really brave enough because one of the things that was going on as we were talking through the game is I haven't played much Red Warriors recently, and I was struggling to remember exactly how everything worked, right? Like I made a couple of small misplays. Like I started doing a web line on cable and then remembered I have to do my move for Spider Technique first,
Yep.
for example. And the other thing is kind of the nature of the format, but like in the core set, you get Captain Marvel and Baron Zemo, who are amazing with the rerolls from Spider-Man.
Yep.
And you don't, in the core set, really get any characters that have any kind of synergy with Amazing Spider-Man's leadership. And once you've taken the Web Warrior boxes, none of them really have synergy with Amazing Spider-Man's leadership. So, like, normally you'd be taking characters like, I don't know, Vision, Hawkeye, Enchantress, right? All these characters that are really good at generating power, or even better if they can also hand out a slow. But you don't have the boxes for that in this format, right? So I feel like just by nature of the list construction, Miles's leadership is a bit better. But I should probably be brave and try Amazing Spider-Man's a bit more.
Maybe at some point in this 4-game series.
I hope so. I'll make it a point to use it at least once.
Great. Well, guys, thank you for a very entertaining game. And good luck.
Fun.
Good luck in your next rounds.
Of course.
Yeah, thank you very much. Great fun.
Good luck.
And thank you, Mark, for joining me and for setting up this amazing tournament.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me, and thank you to all of the watchers for watching. And we'll see you guys whenever the next match is. It'll be promoted somewhere on the various Discords, and just like the top cut for the TTS League, I'll be making a playlist on YouTube for anybody who wants to binge all of these wherever they land on YouTube.
And just things we're all content creators. Dyzard, if people want to hear more from you, where can they find you?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, we got the Danger Room podcast, and I'm all over the Discords for pretty much The TTS one and the Danger Room Discord, and you can just find me by looking for Dyzard.
And Pat, what about you? Where can we find you?
AcrossTheBifrost.com, the Across the Bifrost podcast.
And Mark, where can people hear more from you?
CrossTheBifrost.com. I do a lot of article writing on there. And Roster Doctor on YouTube whenever I get back to making videos. It's been a bit of a hiatus as I've been focusing more on articles, but we'll see as we go.
And just in case you're not aware of it, go and check out the Xavier Protocols blog.
Yes.
Brilliant, guys. Well, thank you all for taking part in this, and we'll see you again soon.
See you.